Even on the bad days, there's always something good you can do. I've learned the hard way that, no matter how prepared you are, there are few defenses that work against predators. At some point, there's nothing you can do but jump in and fight back. Foot forward, weight forward, stop and listen. Strength and wisdom are not opposing values. Sometimes when people are under stress, they hate to think, and it's the time when they most need to think. Do as much as you can, for as many as you can, every day. If this guy ever had an unselfish thought, as my mama would say, it would die of loneliness. Nobody does anything for nothing. Respectful arguments are a waste of time. Sometimes them straight G is just a narcotic to feed the beast in all of us. Psychologically, we're all a complex mixture of hopes and fears. Surrounding yourself with sycophants and bootlickers is the surest route to failure. And to the memory of my grandfather, who taught me to look up to people others look down on, because we're not so different after all. That depends on what your definition of is. Meanwhile, in ways we understand only dimly, if at all, we embrace identities and the illusion of self-sufficiency. The greater the power, the greater the vulnerability. You can put wings on a pig, but that doesn't make it an eagle. Politics is little more than blood sport. A man is more than the sum of all the things he can do. When our memories outweigh our dreams, it is then that we become old. The main thing is never quit, never quit, never quit. We cannot build our own future without helping others to build theirs. Being president is like being the groundskeeper in a cemetery. There are a lot of people under you, but none of them are listening. If you live long enough, you'll make mistakes. But if you learn from them, you'll be a better person. He didn't say a word or do an action that did not have a purpose. If we don't succeed, we run the risk of failure. Follow the trend lines, not the headlines. The advancements of mankind can make us more powerful and yet more vulnerable at the same time. I will study and get ready. Perhaps my chance will come. A lot of your life is shaped by the opportunities you turn down as much as those you take up. I have been assaulted by cleverness on all fronts. People who are smiling, who are content and pleased, if not laughing and joking, don't look like a threat. Everyone knows that if you blow the opener, nobody remembers anything else. There is nothing volume more in subordinates than their willingness to tell me I am wrong, to challenge me, to sharpen my decision-making. Mourn your losses later, after the fight's over. Sergeant Melton used to say, when you're in the fight, fight. Mankind is predictable. Freedom is difficult, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep the people in. We live in a completely interdependent world, which simply means we cannot escape each other. Even when we try to do that, we're often drowned out by the passion of the day. I think about where I am going, the person I am about to see, and invariably my mind wanders back. Anybody who tries to make you mad and stop you from thinking is not your friend. There's a lot to be said for thinking. Character is a journey, not a destination. All too often, anger works better than answers, resentment better than reason, emotion trumps evidence. Our willingness to believe the worst about everyone outside our own bubble is growing, and our ability to solve problems and seize opportunities is shrinking. We have to do better. I learned that everyone has a story of dreams and nightmares, hope and heartache, love and loss, courage and fear, sacrifice and selfishness. It's how you handle adversity, not how it affects you. Our differences do matter, but our common humanity matters more. All my life, I've been interested in other people's stories. I wanted to know them, understand them, feel them. When I grew up into politics, I always felt the main point of my work was to people a chance to have better stories. Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all. In other words, our Constitution was designed by people who were idealistic but not ideological. There's a big difference. We all do better when we work together. People are more impressed by the power of our example rather than the example of our power. If you possess the absolute truth, those who disagree are, by definition, wrong, and evidence of success or failure is irrelevant. The real differences are between those who embrace peace and those who would destroy it, between those who look to the future and those who cling to the past, between those who open their arms and those who are determined to clench their fists.